Welcome. My name is Dr. Bob Saul, or some people refer to me as Dr. Bob. I'm a physician, a pediatrician, and a medical geneticist. I'm also a father, grandfather, a husband, and a citizen. I'm excited to be a part of the beloved 7-day experience of the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group. I invite you to tune in other days for other experts via this app that you're using now. And I hope they will return on Saturdays as we continue to discuss conscious parenting. As I have done on my other sessions, which are also now cataloged on YouTube, I hope you'll take a look at those. I want to start with what I believe is the definition of conscious parenting. Conscious parenting is a conscious awareness of the learned ability of parents to understand their interactions with their children and to alter their responses to maximize positive responses and to minimize negative responses. That's a mouthful. It's a lot. Parenting is not an innate ability, and I think we all need help as we're on this journey. What I wanted to do today was address what I call the parental awareness threshold, or the PAT. And I define that as the conscious awareness of the past, present, and maybe even future interactions of a parent with their child. How are you measuring up in your interactions with your child? I think of the parental awareness threshold as a yardstick for parents to be looking at as to how they're doing, how they're understanding what they're doing and where their child is at the same time. I think it's also an awareness of the need for introspection in parenting. If we're not constantly looking at what we are doing and what we have done and what we need to do, I think we're failing as parents and need to figure out how to do better going forward. How did I get to the parental awareness threshold? Well, let me explain. Back late in my career, I took changed jobs, took a leadership position in a children's hospital. I was asked to take a leadership course, and in that leadership course, I heard a discussion of what's called conscious leadership. And I'll simplify here, but conscious leaders are those that are open, receptive, and ready to learn. Unconscious leaders are those that are closed, defensive, and always right. And there's a line, and when you're above the line, you're conscious, and when you're below the line, you're unconscious. Now, we're human. We're all going to be above and below the line, and I understand that. And the person that came up with this paradigm understands that too. The whole point is just to be aware of where you are. And if you're below the line, to make attempts at then being more conscious, being more aware. What can you do to make a difference? Can you listen more intently in a meeting? Can you be more interactive? Can your body language be better going forward? And so it seemed to me the same concept applies to parenting. When you're above the line, or what I now call the parental awareness threshold, you're open, you're receptive, you're ready to learn, you're ready to interact intently with your child. When you're below the parental awareness threshold, you're closed, you're defensive, because I said so, because I'm the parent and I'm right. Now, we're all going to be above and below that parental awareness threshold. I certainly have during my time as a parent, and I'm sure I will continue at times to do that. The point is being aware of what you're doing. If you find out, well, that really didn't go very well, and what could I have done better? I obviously was sort of knee-jerking in my response. How can I be more conscious? And so I think that's the whole point of the parental awareness threshold, is recognizing that oftentimes our default position is being below the parental awareness threshold. Your child says something, your child does something. Well, that's not right, because I said so, because I'm the parent. Pause, assess, and choose to see if there's a change in your behavior that might need to be your behavior or your interactions. So to get from below the parental awareness threshold to above, I recommend 3 steps: pause, assess, and choose. And so I think that's very important going forward. Let me give you a couple of examples. One, a child comes home with a bad report card, and you've had this discussion, and you look at the report card, you're very upset, and the knee-jerk reaction might be to yell, might be to shout, and might be to say you're grounded for X period of time, or I'm taking away this, or I'm doing this right away. That might be the appropriate reaction, but I would recommend a different way of getting there. I would pause, assess, and then choose. Pause, calmly review this with the child. You might need more information. You might need to talk to the teacher. Assess the situation. Is this a behavior problem? Is this a learning problem? Is this an emotional problem? Is this something the child needs more help with than just a knee-jerk reaction that you're not doing what I told you to do? And then it'll be very important to sort of then choose a response. It still might be appropriate to restrict some activities or some privileges because of some of the situation here. But it also might be that a more consistent response might be important, because you want to do this in a loving, nurturing way. You want the child to still understand that you might be disappointed in their behavior. You're not disappointed in them. You still love them, and you're still there to provide a safe, stable, nurturing relationship. Another example: mother picks up her child from school. Child says, I'm very thirsty, gets in the back seat. Mom goes through the drive-through at a fast food place, gets a tall drink, and hands it back and says, don't spill this. Well, 2 blocks down the line, the child says, Mom, the drink got spilled. Your immediate reaction might be to yell, scream, I told you not to do that, and as you pull over to try to clean up the mess. Well, I would encourage you to pause, assess, and choose. It could be that curve you took, that turn you took a couple blocks back, knocked the book bag into the drink, which knocked the drink over on the seat. It also could be that it might not have been wise to get a tall drink that couldn't be properly tethered in the back seat. So we need to be looking at our responses, pause, assess what's going on, and then choose a more successful path going forward. And then if we, in the moment, did not make the right response, I would encourage us to, in retrospect, review that. And if we need to make amends, do that also. And I will give you a personal example. One night, my son was about 7 or 8. He said something that made me very angry, and I yelled at him, and he just turned into a puddle. My wife got mad at me for yelling, and we went into the family meltdown mode where nobody talks for several hours. When it was bedtime, I sat down with my son, and I said, son, I'm so sorry. What you did, I think, was wrong, but Dad's response was totally inappropriate, and I want to apologize. I want to ask for your forgiveness. And he said, Dad, would you be quiet? I said, why? He said, I hate it when you're nice. Now, I don't say that example to pat myself on the back, but I say in retrospect, it's always good to pause, assess, and choose. So let me ask you to join me again on Saturdays at this time slot for 10 minutes of conscious parenting. What can you do in the interim? We'll go to the KS Cornelia Stephanie Media Group app. Go to the directory, go to the influencers at the top, find Dr. Bob, and purchase a copy of Conscious Parenting. It's an easy read, and then it'll enhance our sessions going forward. I hope that y'all have a great week, and please take care of each other. Thank you.